Hi, I'm one of the nurses on the cardiac step-down unit at University of Maryland, and I actually work very closely with Angela in educating our unit and becoming a new IMC, and we work very closely with the Lippincott procedures and skills, and we use it as a primary education tool. What we like about it is that it's very easy to get to from our main University of Maryland website, and it's also evidence-based, so it's a great resource for our nurses on the unit. Another thing is that we use it for a lot of procedures that maybe we're not so familiar with on the cardiac unit. For example, we don't do a lot of nasogastric tubes, so we may use this as a reference. So it's a great resource for the unit and the nurses.
I do use Lippincott procedure and skills. I find that students come to this rotation with different levels of experience, and I find that by using this resource, it provides us with a standardized, evidence-based foundation in order to prepare for procedures that we will be doing on pediatric patients. So a lot of them have had, potentially had adult health clinical or fundamentals of nursing. Some of them have not had clinical rotations at all. And I find that, for instance, looking at how you perform a head circumference on an infant who is 2 weeks old is something that can be challenging. So by logging onto this resource, we're able to actually look at how you would implement step by step the procedure.
I started working here as a new grad starting October 2011, and during orientation I was introduced to the HealthStream and Lippincott online modules. And they were very helpful. Some examples of some modules that I did pertaining to my unit were cerebral aneurysms and subarachnoid hemorrhages, also pulmonary embolisms. On HealthStream, the different modules took us through different scenarios of patient descriptions. They were admitted to a hospital, and try to make it as realistic as possible to see what I would encounter on the floor when I started. They gave you feedback for the right answers and also the wrong answers to tell you rationales of why it was not right and how we might have got the answer confused throughout our thought processes.
I'm Sarah, and I've been working in the NeuroCare ICU for almost a year and a half now. I'm a clinical nurse too, and for the last year I've been a member of the hospital's clinical practice council. The Practice Council really goes over the Lippincott manual more thoroughly than any of the other councils do. So I've been encouraged to spread the word amongst the nursing staff to refer to it, to look for updates in hospital policies and procedures if there's any questions.
My name's Dominique Banks. I'm a nurse in the Neuro ICU. I've been there for about 4 years. I use Lippincott quite frequently, especially when I was a beginning nurse. I like that it is an approved, reliable resource for the University of Maryland. It's accessible through the intranet, so everyone can access it no matter where you are. And because Neuro ICU is a specialty, sometimes we don't get to see a lot of the drains or the procedures that might happen on other medical floors. So I like the fact that when we do come across those patients who have other issues, we can rely on Lippincott to refresh our memories on the skills or the procedures that are used to do those things. Like most recently we put in a chest tube in a patient, and I hadn't seen a chest tube in about 2 years. So I ran the Lippincott and I pulled up the procedures and the guidelines and everything, and I was able to manage the patient and the chest tube for that 12-hour shift safely and competently, and I felt that Lippincott was a good resource to go to.